Welcome to Almost Here, Round the Corner Future Technology podcast with Richard Jacobs. Future technologies poised to transform our lives for better or worse are the focus of this podcast. Almost here means these technologies are now here and starting to be used, or just around the corner, from Bitcoin to artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Tech Podcast. I'm your host, Juliette Lamar, and joining me today is Dylan Jones. He's the founder at Refereum, and we're very excited to have him on. I think you all are going to love his company. Welcome, Dylan.
Hey, thanks so much, Juliette, and thanks for having me on Future Tech Podcast. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, what you're doing really does fit into our podcast, so it's a perfect little marriage here. So for our listeners who might not be familiar with your company, can you go ahead and give us an overview of what you do?
Absolutely. So Refereum is all about connecting people together. And so what I mean by that is that we started in the video game space. And, a couple of your past podcasts have talked about VR and, streaming and a couple other things. And that's really our home grounds. And so what we've noticed after basically being in the video game industry for about 10 years is what happens normally is somebody takes their marketing budget and they give that off to Google and Facebook. And then Google and Facebook basically give pennies on the dollar to all these people making content on YouTube and Facebook. And so what Refereum does is it tries to better connect those game developers directly to those game influencers, those streamers, those content creators. And so we do that, of course, by using some fun blockchain tech. We automatically reward referral bonuses on chain. We can get rid of a lot of the black box issues that comes from referral marketing in general. And so we started some time ago, a little bit before all the craze of crypto. And we've actually had the pleasure of working with some pretty awesome partners and pretty awesome games like Fortnite, like Battlefield. And we're about 20 people now in San Francisco.
Fantastic. And then now tell me a little bit about how you got involved in the space.
Yeah, so as mentioned, I actually was I was in the video game industry for a long time before crypto, and basically I hopped all around the industry from working on games themselves, on small indie games, to large PC games, working on some top grossing mobile games, but really hopping around. Maybe I also did a little bit of time at Unity on Unity is one of the top game engines and working on the analytics team. But mostly I was a game systems designer. And so usually that means a lot of economy modeling. Usually that means a lot of feedback loops. But all throughout all those stops in the game industry, we kept noticing that same problem. And it's actually outside of the game industry. It's bigger than that. But that's where we first saw it. And that, again, is how do you get discovered in this world that has so many games, so many products in it? How do you better connect with that? And traditional advertising channels are just going away, right? Like not too many people click on banner ads anymore. And again, it's that new generation. And so we kind of said, hey, we actually tried to do this maybe 5 years ago, and we used PayPal. We used kind of very conventional methods. But if we wanted to send somebody, if we wanted to reward a streamer, or if we wanted to reward a content creator of some kind, let's say we send them $1 or $5. That's a lot of money for some people in parts of the world, and particularly if you're playing a video game. We would end up paying PayPal 50 cents, right? And if you're trying to pay somebody $1, that just never worked. And so we actually pretty much just hit this stopping point because we were just hemorrhaging money to PayPal and kind of bank transfer fees. And then we tried doing it in crypto, and we said, oh, well, this could be even better if we had our own resources and our own coin and our own smart contracts. And so that's how Refereum was born. And we really kind of birthed out of an environment. We're very passionate about trying to solve real problems that the world has today with crypto rather than worrying about different issues that we may or may not have 5 years from now and then building something for that. Refereum is very driven towards the current market, current problems with the video game industry and beyond the video game industry as well. To be solving. And so actually kind of an example of that is along with working with some of those top customers, hopefully we've all heard of Fortnite by now, that PC games kind of taken over the world. But we've also used a lot of those gamification, those best practices that we did for our token sale that was actually much earlier in the year. In February, we actually blew some record numbers in terms of some of the largest Telegram groups. We actually had to tweet the CEO of Telegram and say, hey, can you increase the maximum Telegram room size for us because our community keeps flooding in. And And so they did, actually. And so for us, that was a lot of those best practices of referral marketing, of viral growth, of quote unquote that Silicon Valley term growth hacking. And so we're packaging now that into our products and into our services for video games that have seen amazing use cases, and now also for some of our other crypto partners. So we have some great partnerships with games and beyond in the space that are now also using some of our tools.
That's fantastic. So yeah, when I'm on your website, I see streamer, gamer, studio, and crypto enthusiast. You want to give us a brief little overview of how each person will use it, and maybe you touched on a few use cases for gamers and streamers, but maybe a little bit deeper dive on all four of those different segments.
Absolutely. And so first off, I would say that just everything in crypto, the crypto time moves fast. And so we are in the process literally right now. We just got out of a meeting of updating this website so that we can just make things a little bit more simpler for everybody to understand. But for now, we have a lot of information on there that I'll kind of briefly go through. So for a streamer, right, a streamer or maybe a gamer or a YouTube content creator, something like that, right now, you're doing your thing, you're making your cool content, you're making probably gaming videos. The top influencers, the top most subscribed people on the internet are all making video game stuff, whether that's PewDiePie or people in between. And so really for that, it's just like, hey, keep doing what you're doing. But what's cool is, for an example, we actually worked with Fortnite and we said, hey, if you grab your Refereum referral link and you send that out to your fans, maybe people watching your stream or people watching your YouTube video, and they buy Fortnite through your link, then we will give you cryptocurrency. We will give you Refereum as a prize, right? And so that ecosystem works as game developers can buy Refereum and reward that out to those fans. So I'm a streamer. I want people to support me, or I want to, really show that I have a lot of influence. I grab my Refereum link. People buy the game through my link, and then I get a little bit of reward. Sometimes it's game skins, sometimes it's new access, it's games that aren't out yet, and of course, sometimes it's crypto. And so for studios now in general, they can come in, they can buy Refereum and reward that out, at scale to all those influencers. It's been really hard for studios to attract the kind of what's called the mid-tail and the long tail of influencers, because really it's just been a scaling problem. You can only email the top 1% of influencers, right? You're only going to get the largest influencer out there because you just can't email 100,000 people. But what we're excited about, what we've seen great results in, is we're really trying to empower the common person, maybe the smaller streamer, maybe just somebody who's not even an influencer, maybe who just has somebody who has a friend, right? Who they want to share video games with their small group of friends. That's fine. We support all that. And so those studios now can buy Refereum tokens and then give those out as little fun rewards to those gamers and to those fans and stuff. And the crypto enthusiasts, of course, as you can check out some of our, really just, to be frank, just this awesome team of what we're building, get out more details from a smart contract side, how our economy works, our growing community, 50,000 wallet holders, over 100,000 Telegram users. And really just an A-plus quality team from San Francisco, Silicon Valley, working at top companies, Google, Facebook, Twitch, Expedia, Atlassian, Wikipedia, Reddit, Kickstarter, Unity, all these great spots. So really that's kind of the breakdown for all those different types of people.
No, that's fantastic. And so many, wonderful ways to use this one platform and pretty much fits into whatever you need.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we found is, we're definitely focused on, one or two verticals, because building anything, particularly software, is always very challenging. But for us is, we really focused on video games. What we found was people were desperate to keep using these solutions. We found some great best practices of growth hacking that's particularly fascinating for the crypto side, right? So when you look around in crypto and our crypto partners, we get the question of, well, how did you guys do that? How did you guys, get some of those numbers? And, because it's really difficult out there to be a blockchain project. There's a lot of uncertainty from a regulatory standpoint, but that also manifests itself in other ways where you can't buy Facebook ads, you can't buy Twitter ads, you can't even buy Google ads these days, right? So how do you get the word out about there? It's going back to the roots of good marketing, and that's always word of mouth, right? And there's a lot of things that you can do for a website, for a project, to encourage word of mouth. And that's where one of our projects that we've been calling kind of codenaming the growth engine, has been working. So the growth engine is a little button that lives on other people's websites. In this case, and it could be for one of our partners like Rupee or for Bravo, and Coral Protocol actually is now using it. We have a ton of great projects who are rewarding their community, right? Because people are familiar with airdrops in the crypto space, but what's much better than an airdrop is what we call, an earn drop, right? It's people who actually earned it to be part of the community. It's people who are participating on the forums. It's people who are retweeting good content. It's people who are sharing with their friends. Those people should get more rewards, right? That's really the central vision of Refereum, is we want to reward the world, right? We want to reward the people that deserve the rewards. And so instead of just doing random airdrops, it's, hey, how can we measure and encourage people to get more rewards in a scalable way? And that's what the growth engine does. So it's a little button that lives on the website. You click on it on any type of website, and you can read a little bit about the project, see what's going on. And the more things you do, maybe you do something very simple, like the project on Facebook, or maybe you share it with a friend with your referral link, or maybe you post on the forum, right? There's a ton of really cool embedded kind of more API focused things. Then you get points, and anytime you get those points, you rank up, and if you get more a higher rank, you get a better reward. So it's a simple little thing, but we're really happy with it because it allows the people to be getting more of the marketing budgets instead of Google and Facebook. Right now, it's the individuals who are getting the marketing spends. It's the people themselves instead of one corporation.
No, absolutely. And looking towards the future, you have a lot going on already, and I think you guys are doing a great job of anticipating the needs of the future. But as far as the future of your company goes, and perhaps where you see this crypto world going, what do the next 3 years look like?
Well, I think in general, to start off first with the industry is, we're already starting to see a lot of the parallels between crypto line up with the startup world that we're all pretty familiar with over here in San Francisco. Is really kind of a maturing of the space. We saw the same thing in the .com bust, right, and boom for that matter. Is you saw these silly projects getting money, and you go, what is that? And there's always the classic scenarios where Pets.com, had all that money and all that evaluation, and it all blew up in the .com burst. And I think we're going to start to see a little bit of that in crypto. I think things are already slowing down a little bit, but from those ashes, there's no doubt there's going to be a new Amazon. There's going to be a new Microsoft, right? There's going to be a new way of living and trusting and computing here. And our goal really is to make sure that we're on the upper side of that. I won't use the word bubble, but really want to make sure that we are building things. And so I both think we're starting to see it, and I'm also hopeful for the crypto space starting to appreciate people building real things and kind of moving away from hype and into, whoa, this technology really can change the world, and here's how, and better yet, here's what's going to happen, and here is it really happening right now. And so from our perspective, we're building for that future, right? That's just what we're focused on 20 hours a day these days. We really want to build for what does that referral network on Ethereum look like, right? What does some of these traditional marketing things that we've had in traditional tech look like on chain? That's what we want to build towards, because there's no doubt that we're not going back to paper and rocks to transfer money, right? Crypto is here to stay. We'll see what projects are here to stay. But for us, we know the tech is here, so let's start building, right? Let's, make sure that we're backing and partnering with projects that are building great things that are going to prove just how amazing crypto can be, and world shattering for that matter.
And in your time spent in this space, what do you feel like is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned or challenges that you've bumped up against?
I think the biggest lesson, is that in blockchain in particular, integrity really matters. And so for us, that's something that we've really tried to keep really dear to our souls. And, we ask any blockchain founder, and it's 10 times harder than just running a regular company. But really kind of judging around in the space, there's always different opinions. You could always do something better, but kind of coming back to this core principle of integrity of saying, look, this is what we said we were going to do. We're going to do it. And if something has to change, let's message why and what's happening. But I think that really shows wonders. And that's something that nobody's perfect at, us included, but it's something that we're always striving for more and more, right? Is, hey, here's the situation. Like we had the opportunity, we were 20x oversubscribed during our token sale, right? And it was very easy, I think, for founders and us. We could have just increased our cap of or our sell or whatever we want to do, and we could have had quite a significant more boost amount of money. But I think that keeping to what we said we were going to do has actually bought us a lot of good faith. And again, nothing's perfect. We could have always messaged things here and there better. We couldn't have as much as a public sale. Regulations are still a thing. We have to abide by laws. It's tough to sell the U.S. these days. But really, that I think is one of the core principles that we always try and really use as a lens for whenever we're acting and building things at Refereum, is that integrity.
And you touched on it a little bit, but what do you think is one of the biggest things that sets Refereum apart from other companies who are doing similar things?
Yeah, what's interesting is particularly in the game spaces, we always try and have to take a step backwards and say, hey, we're actually not we're not doing items on chain. I think that's really cool. I think video games will adopt that slowly over time. We haven't necessarily seen a real need from that yet today. It's something that blockchain is inherently very good at, putting items like a sword on the blockchain. So hey, this sword is that same sword. But we haven't necessarily seen that been called out by as a hungry need from game developers or consumers yet. I think we'll eventually get there. But for us, I think something that sets us apart is we're actually in the influencer space, right? And there's not a lot of other companies of such a caliber doing that, with the amount of games that we've worked on, with the profile of games, or with the amount of users that have that. But nonetheless, really it's about it's still about solving those real problems. That for us is what puts it away. Let's solve real problems today, and that's been going pretty well.
That's fantastic. So if people want to start using Refereum and they want to get involved, what are the first steps, and how they sign up, and where can they follow your journey as a company?
Totally. So we're about to launch a little bit of a new website, but whether it's out or not, whatever it is, come on over to refereum.com. It's like a referral and Ethereum put together. So it's REFEREUM.com, and sign up. Let us know what you think. We've got games to be checking out. We've got other crypto projects to check out. If you like learning about new crypto projects, we're launching a new kind of discover portal for that. So there's going to be a lot of ways that you can be earning more tokens, getting involved. And I think the other great thing about it, why we're seeing a lot of this growth, is people are very kind of curious about how to get in on all this crypto action, right? But normally what it is, you might open up Coinbase, or you might open up another app, and basically the first experience you get is, oh, now I have to pay money. I want to buy one Bitcoin, I'll shell over, 6K or whatever that might be, or maybe I want to buy 0.01. I still have to pay money, right? And what we're doing is we kind of provide this different onboarding ramp for fans and consumers, where it's like, hey, keep doing what you've always been doing. You're streaming. Did you know that you're not getting the value that you could be? Oh, you're talking about crypto projects. Did you know you're not getting the value that you could be? And we provide a much easier onboarding ramp. So it's like, hey, you got this. Hey, we want to send you some tokens. Follow through this process, and boom, you've got basically some free money there and free tokens, compared to that upfront wall in terms of that conversion wall of, hey, okay, now give us money. We're a much different experience of onboarding into crypto, and that's just all done over on refereum.com.
Fantastic. And you on social media? Can people follow you on social media or find you on there as well? And are you active at all?
Oh, yeah, we're every day. Absolutely. I am personally TDJ on Twitter, so it's just at TDJ, like the Dylan Jones. And you can also find Refereum just at Refereum, same spelling. So it's all pretty easy. And also, as always, shoot us over a question. We're really live and breathe by what the community is talking about. We have a ton of really amazing community talent that's making sure that we're filtering and listening to all of our communities. So really just come on over and say hi.
That's so wonderful that you're so accessible, and I think that's one of the biggest selling points as well in this space, is knowing that people are accessible and they're there for you if you have questions or if you need things, and just realizing there's real people behind all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Real people building real things, figuring it all out. It's very much the early 90s, right? That's the classic antidote. It's the early 90s, and we're all figuring out what the internet is, and it's hard, but we have some really bright minds from all over the best industries working on it. So come figure it all out with us together.
I love it. Well, Dylan Jones, thank you so much for joining us here today and for taking the time out of your schedule. And hopefully we can all start connecting together through your fantastic program here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Juliet. And thanks to the podcast. Thanks, listeners. Thanks for checking it out. Looking forward to hearing from you all.
That is Dylan Jones. He is the founder at Refereum. That, again, is Refereum, REFEREUM.com. Check them out. Thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Juliet Lamar with Future Tech Podcast.
You have been listening to Almost Here, Around the Corner Future Technology Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Subscribe to this podcast, post a review to discover more future technologies that are poised to transform our lives for better or worse, such as Bitcoin, artificial intelligence, 3D printing, blockchain, virtual reality, and more.